What is this thing made of clay I found in a museum in the southwest of England, UK? It is glazed inside, orange-brown in color, medium weight, and roughly 10 inches tall. There isn't any information on where it came from, who owned it, or how old it is. It was just an object found unlabeled that we've been trying to identify at the museum. We thought maybe something to do with bees, but the glazing is what's throwing us off. Any idea what this is made for? It's an alembic jar, a ceramic distiller. It was used for distillation as a process of alchemy, with alchemists experimenting with changing substances and materials. The inner compartment of the jar held the liquid, which was heated by burning a flame in the hole in the base. The liquid then turned into vapor that rose out of the inner container, leaving the sediment behind. The vapor made contact with the cooler walls of the outer container and turned back into liquid. The distilled liquid was collected through the spout. Distillation is widely used today for refining oil and making alcohol. What is this retractable tool that fits in your hand when folded? I would guess stainless steel. It originally belonged to my grandparents. My father has had this in his workshop for ages and can't recall what it is for. I would appreciate it if someone in the world could demystify this object of constant wonder. It's a 1920s cheese holder. It's for slicing cheese or butter from a block at a grocery store, from back when cheese and butter didn't come individually packaged. The store employee would use this to hold the block while he cut it, so that he didn't have to get butterfingers or oily cheese fingers. I came across this clock, but I don't understand the dial. I don't want to put you on the wrong track, but I believe the previous owner was a watchmaker. The back says Horlogerie Herman Mulder, then the old address in the Netherlands. Perhaps it's used in combination with a map, like on a boat or a plane. Does anybody know what the purpose is? Any help is greatly appreciated. The outer rings are a tempograph, designed by Herman Mulder in the 60s for rally cars. It was an easy method for rally car drivers to keep a constant average speed. Before this invention, there was no convenient way to do this. The inventor, who owned a watch shop in Haarlem, came into contact with rallying because he supplied stopwatches. He saw the lack of a simple system with which the average speed could be monitored, and for this purpose, he invented and developed the tempograph, also called an average controller. I found this at an antique shop. Its diameter is between a nickel and a dime. It is very small. You can remove the top and reveal cork injected with a needle that has a hole the size of a nickel in it. It has a crown on the face and a little handle behind it. What is this thing? It's a Victorian bubble blower. This pendant is a container for making bubbles, with the little wand inside and filled with bubble liquid. The exact same item was a gift presented in 1876 to Queen Victoria from a Maharaja in India. Her antique original was solid gold. That is a first-class little Victorian adult toy. I've been trying to identify this tool, found in my grandpa's workshop in rural France. He was an electrician, but was quite the handyman, so this tool could be of a completely other domain. It is over 50 years old and made entirely of metal. It says made in France, but no other identifiable marks. The screw on top can be loosened or tightened to adjust the small metal piece. We think it might be a tool to strip wires of their housing, but why so many holes all of the same diameter? Any help is appreciated. It's a vintage adjustable saw rest. They're used to bend the teeth on a handsaw, making the kerf wider than the blade so the saw doesn't bind in the cut. What is this lantern I found in an antique shop in Estonia? It's rectangular with glass on 3 sides and a wooden handle. The bottom contains an oil reservoir and 2 empty cylinders, and the front base, which opens to the oil reservoir, has holes in it. The antique shop owner said it was for mining, but I thought mining lanterns had a mesh, not glass, to prevent gases from catching fire. Perhaps there are more types than I know of. The hook on the back makes me think the lantern is for a specific purpose or was used with specific equipment. Thank you to everyone. It's an old German railroad lantern from circa 1942. The handle is for carrying, the hook is for mounting, hanging it on a wall, coach, or railroad car. The odd curved bit is a heat deflector, so your knuckles don't get singed. What is this strange metal tool found at a yard sale? It's fairly heavy. I suspect it to be iron or steel, purely based on weight handles with weird patterns that are hollow. Seemingly very old given its appearance, and the fact the hinges sometimes squeak and even stick. It can open and close in a diamond shape. Any ideas? It's a 19th century lemon squeezer with a tinned steel anti-squirt juice shield, and I think the plate comes off. It was patented on May 3rd, 1881 by the Little Giant Company, founded in 1876 by Wills Brothers. Here's a 1910 advertisement for lemon squeezers. What is this hollow wooden cylinder found in a hotel in the Black Forest in Germany? Surprisingly, no one at the hotel knows either. It's tapering to a point on the other side, with a handle-like cut on one side, about 10 inches in length and 2 to 3 inches in diameter. No inscriptions or markings of any kind. Have any of you seen this before, or know what it was used for? It's a wooden scythe sharpening stone holder. This treen holder dates to the early 1800s. Farmers wore these out in the field. It carried a sharpening stone that they would use to sharpen the scythes in the field, rather than walk back to the barn to do it. Traditionally worn on the belt, and they were filled with water to keep the wet stone wet, and you would run it over your scythe every so often. Apparently, you need a razor edge or else it's a lot more effort. I am staying at an Airbnb, and the owner has hung this on the wall as a decoration. The house is decorated with industrial antiques of all sorts. It looks like a pegboard made out of wood, and it is covered in a whitish residue like dust or paint. The pegs that stick out of the board are fixed and can't be removed. The pegs are fixed into slats that have some give in the frame and perhaps can be removed. Does anyone know what this would have been originally used for? Please let us know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Let's make life fun.